here's the form, and let's just do something like Emmanuel, and testing, and this is about testing. And if I submit here, you can see this form is successful. Why? Because from the condition, if it's not successful, it will not get to this place. So, and now you can see it here. Form submitted. You can see at line 20. So we have the manual, we have the mail, we have the message here. So that means we have this completely done. Today we are building a server-side form validation, fully functional one. So with Next.js 15 and above. So we can use 15, we can use 16 version. So now, first of all, we have to create our Next.js application and then install all the necessary packages. So I'll click on this, my file explorer, and then let me just have one folder here. Let me create one folder, college Next.js folder. So then I'll click on that particular folder. So to continue, I'll just click on this route layer, and then with command cmd, command prompt. And after that, I have this PowerShell dialog. So right from here, I can create my next application. So the first thing I'm going to do is to write npx, then create next, app, then link test, right? And then followed by this, we have to give it a name, and just call it next server home. So, and after this, I just want to add some, expectation, the services or packages I'm expecting. I use having app. This means I am creating app router, and then I'm having tailwind. So I'm going to use tailwind to style our form, and lastly I will use TypeScript. So now I just wait a little bit. All right, so right here I will just go with Sling, just go with the default. So would you like to use, I just say yes. This one is no, then no. I just wait for a moment. All right, here we are. So we are done creating the application. So right now we have to route to this particular project that we just created now, next server form. And to do that, cd and next server form. So now code dot to open our code editor. So from the home page, which is the default one, I've removed the initial one that was there. So right now this is and we have the main, the div. So the next thing we are going to have is h1, and I'll call this contact us, and we are going to have the form. So since we are only going to create simple form, so I feel like we just have up to like 3 fields, which will be name, email, and the message. So now we are going to have 3 divs inside here, and we have *3 here. So now the first div, I'm going to have a label, right? So this label is for the name. So therefore I give the name there, and then the input. I'm going to have the input, and this input should be type text. That one is good. So followed by the name attribute, very important, I'll call it name, and the ID attribute too, I'll call it name, and the required to be true. So this one is done, and I can just copy everything here and then paste it here too, because it has the same flow. So here I will change it to email. This one to be email, and this can be email too, are required. So the third one is a bit different. So since this one is a message, we are going to use text area here instead. So text area text. So, and we are going to have message, and here too. So the message. Okay, so the next thing is rows. Let's start with 4 rows, and lastly required. So I'm going to format my code. This is what I have now. All the 3 fields: the name field, the email field, and the message field. So then I have to change this one to message as well. So this is the form, but it's not looking like the one we want, right? Let's just go and do the styling. The next thing is to have the server-side implementation. Have another folder here, and then let us go one step at a time. I'll call it API, and inside the API folder, I'll call it form action .ts. It's just TS, remember. So, and since this one is server-side, we know that every page, every component creates in Next.js is usually use server by default. So if you don't want server, we have to, state it like, okay, use client, right? But then to be on the safer side, even though by default it's use server, I would say I have to use the server. Then right below it, I will use the export async function let me do that like that. So the name here, right? I will use something like submit form action, right? So this parameter I will change it to like form data, and the type thereof could be type of form data itself. So now we get this down to a point. So the next thing is to extract the value that is coming from the name attribute. What do I mean by that? So if you look at each and every field here, the name attribute here, so the value here is name, the name attribute here, the value is email. So the name attribute here, the value is message. So we want to get the value of this text area and input through the name attribute. So now let me get the name first. I'll say equal to form data, then dot get. So I will provide that name, the value for the name attribute. But for type self, I'll say as string. This one is done. And go with the const email equal to form data. Get email to. So they want to as string. Lastly, we have the const message. We go to form data. That's good. We have the message to and as string. Right below, let me just comment it as a validation, right? And below it, I will say if not, how to validate, if not name or not email or not message. Now, I will say redirect. I will import it from next class navigation, and right from here, I will just say as contact. The page does not exist right now. Then slash action, then with a query of error and the equal to mention Ivan Kills. So the second one is if not email dot includes, the email does not include the ads symbol. So I have to use the same thing redirect to, slash contacts slash same action, right, with a query of error and error. What should I give this one? Let me give it invalid, right? Invalid email. So let me change this to lowercase and this one to first letter M. So let me log the one that is called. I'll call it form submit date. Them listed here, name, email, message, and below it I have to do the final return. I will redirect to like if no issue at all, slash contacts slash success. Since this contact page currently right is not available, we just have to create one. So now that we are done with the server-side form actions implementation and we are done with the form itself, we are done with this page, success page, then the next thing is to now combine it together. So right now they are not working together. To do that, I have to come here. You can see the name of this function, right? So I will come to the form and in the action here, I'll just paste that and import it. I've exported it already. Now we can test it whether the form is working or not, right? Here's the form, and let's just do something like a manual and testing, and this is about testing. And if I submit here, what this tells us is this form is successful. Why? Because from the condition, if it's not successful, it will not get to this place. So, and now you can see it here. Form submitted. You can see at line 20. So we have the manual, we have the mail, we have the message here. Here we can integrate backend directly from here. And integrate API. Can integrate API here. That is, we can send form because we already have all the data. So now you can see that upon this flow, they don't use any use client, you don't see any use state or use event. So this is a reason why this one is a server side form action. This is why we call it form action. So it's this action that is performing the form submission for us. Directly, we communicate with the server side and we get the data we need and everything is fine. That's it for today. Thank you very much for staying to the end of this video. Stay tuned for another one. Thank you.